Today, we're hoping to put 10 poison counters on our opponent to win the game by either being toxic or by utilizing the new Serpent Society card to punish their spot removal. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the hottest in budget deck technology. So without further ado, join me today in the Pioneer format as we breathe new life, or death, back into Poison, with a deck that I'm simply calling Serpents of Death. Serpents of Death is looking to bring a little bit of a new twist on the classic Golgari Poison deck that we've seen a couple years ago back in Standard when it was still around. However, because most of those cards have already rotated out, we wanted to move this into Pioneer instead, but that means now we have access to a lot of these abilities. Simply put though, we want to just put as many poison counters, ideally the magic number of 10, onto our opponent to score our victory. Doesn't matter how much life they have, doesn't matter how many creatures they have. As long as we get to that number of 10, we can score our win. Now for those of you out there that do just want to enjoy the gameplay straight out, I will show you on screen below the quick little timestamp that you want to jump to in the video if you want to get right to the gameplay. Otherwise, for the remainder of you out there that actually do want to see the deck a little bit more in depth, stick around and I'll be more than happy to share with you how it all works. Now that you have a general idea what the deck is trying to do, let's go ahead and let's cover it a little bit more in depth. But this time we're actually going to work our way backwards on the mana curve, because the whole reason we wanted to even do this deck in the first place is because of the Serpent Society, a 3-mana, 3/4 legendary creature, human, snake, villain that has death touch and ward of 5 poison counters.
Say what?
In other words, if they want to target this card to remove, they have to accept 5 poison counters in order to blow up the Serpent Society. But the other cool reason why you want this card is it says, whenever another creature you control with death touch dies, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice.
That is awesome!
And that's the ingenious part about this. So no matter what, we can punish our opponent at any given time with the way our deck is designed to make sure they will lose their creatures, as long as they're non-token creatures, and we can just blow away the board, keeping it clear. More often than not, with the Serpent Society, your opponent more likely never wants to actually blow this up, because getting 5 poison counters already puts them on an immediate clock and can really speed up our gameplay. To do that, however, we do want to make sure we have cards that can actually put poison counters on our opponent via combat damage, or at the very least, give our creatures death touch. So we will start with Spit Basilic here, a death touch toxic 1 creature that's a Phyrexian Basilic here. So this pulls double duty, has the death touch and the toxic to make sure we can just start speeding up the clock against our opponent. In order to make sure we can also take advantage of the death touch ability that Serpent Society has, he has a brand new BFF in Finn the Fangbearer. I'm sure many of you who have seen my channel have seen this card in action a ton of times, but for those of you who haven't, one more time, this is a legendary human warrior creature that's a 1/3 with death touch, and it says whenever a creature you control with death touch deals combat damage to a player, they get 2 poison counters. So this can also be a great way to just speed up the clock while we're waiting for the Serpent Society to resolve. Finally, in the 2-drop slot, we'll also have Shovel, Bane of Monsters, which is going to be our pseudo card advantage, and also can make sure we can keep cards in check. This is a death-touching human rogue legendary creature that's a 1/3 that reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with a bounty counter on them, you place a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you will gain 3 life and draw a card. So as long as you can keep marking opponents' creatures, you can start blowing them up, drawing more cards, and gaining life to keep yourself stable. To make sure we can help that out, our remaining creatures are going to be just Foulmire Knight here, but also it has an instant ability where you can draw a card and lose 1 life for card advantage, or Bill Skull Dweller, which does the same thing as the Spit Basilic, but at again a smaller rate here, a 1-mana death touch creature that's a 1/1 with toxic 1, and the only other creature in our deck that actually doesn't have death touch but still provides great support is going to be Venerated Rot Priest. So think of this as kind of like a mini version of the Serpent Society. With toxic 1, it can still put poison counters through combat damage. However, with this out, as long as any one of our creatures becomes targeted, this also can just start putting poison counters on top of our opponent. Beyond that amount of support here, we also want to make sure we have some instant sorceries that can also round out our package. So to blow up some of the stuff we actually have a hard time dealing with, we will throw in Annihilating Glare. So you do have to sacrifice an artifact or a creature, or unless you want to pay the extra 4 to destroy a creature or a planeswalker. Tamiyo Safekeeping here can protect any one of our creatures, and one of the most devious things you can do with this card is you can use this to protect your Venerated Rot Priest or your Serpent Society, so once the trigger goes on the stack, then you can not only give them a poison counter, but also protect your creature as they either do combat damage or make sure they can block. Deadly Dispute in a pinch here if you do need to sacrifice something can help you just draw some extra cards, leave behind a treasure token, and also if a Serpent Society out can definitely even trigger off that ability with your creatures. Finally, we will also utilize here Tear Asunder. This can exile an artifact or enchantment at instant speed, but if you manage to pay the kicker cost, you can then exile any non-land permanent on the field. As far as your mana base is concerned, this is actually going to be a little bit more complicated than our previous ones. This one will still have basics, because it'll use 7 swamps and 7 forests, but we'll throw in a 1 creature land, Hissing Quagmire, and the only reason we want this one is, if you can pay the 3, this becomes an elemental creature land with Death Touch, which goes perfectly with our strategy. Otherwise, you're only dual tapped, and you can use any one you want, but the one we're going to pick this time around will be Strangled Cemetery. This actually enters untapped if any player has 13 or less life. Otherwise, our only other land will be a Volatile Vault here in case we have to deal with creature lands we actually have trouble with, so this can then blow away a non-basic land, and of course it leaves behind for us a treasure token. If you're a fan of best of 3, here's what I'd recommend for you for your sideboard options. So, once we start putting counters on our opponent, we sometimes want instead Proliferate, or maybe Annihilating Glitter might be a little bit too slow. So for those options, you can swap in Whisper of the Dross, giving any creature -1/-1 until end of turn, and you can Proliferate. This means you can also use Drown and Ichor here, giving a creature -4/-4 until end of turn, and they can Proliferate. Granted, this, however, is at sorcery speed, so be aware that if you swap it in. We have Soulguy Lantern as your catch-all Graveyard Hate. Infectious Bite here can also be good, because as long as you have a creature out, you can deal damage equal to its power to another target creature, leave behind a poison counter on your opponent, and it goes perfectly well since almost all of our creatures have Death Touch. An extra copy of Tear Asunder here if you need a little bit more support, and also for a low-level Wrath, we'll throw in Choking Miasma, giving all creatures -2/-2 until end of turn, unless if the spell was kicked, you can then put a +1/+1 counter on any creature you control. But otherwise, that is the whole deck for you in a nutshell, everyone. So as always, let's get to the more exciting part of this video. Let's go ahead, let's take our deck into the best of 1 Pioneer format. Let's play some matches in Ranked, and let's see how well the deck can do. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content. You can support me monthly for a small amount on Patreon, where I have all of my extended bonus footage posted. We also have a Redbubble spot where you can buy merch like stickers and shirts, or for free, all you can just do also is just join our growing community on Discord. Your support helps keep this channel going. All links are in the details below. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can we utilize the power of our Serpent Society and rain death and poison against our opponents? Well, we have what we need. We actually would like to get at least 1 black source. That actually would be great for us. Another Serpent Society. Not quite what we need just yet, but okay. Come on, deck. If we can at least just get 1 more black land, we should be set to go here. Alright, Deadly Dispute. Still not getting it. Okay. Alright, Finn the Fangbearer it is. Okay, so it's all up to Finn. We are in it to win it with Finn it. Wait, did that make sense? Never mind. Alright. Oh, nice. There we go. Now we got it. Okay, so the Serpent Society. All we came here for. We will swing. Does our opponent block? They don't. Okay, so we got our first 2 poison counters on board. Okay, we are still 8 away from getting our victory with poison. Deep Fathom Echo. Okay. Okay, Explorer. That's cute, by the way. Okay. Alright, so with that Strangled Cemetery. Okay. So here's where we're going to get really nasty. Okay, so with that, we swing with just Finn. If he gets blocked, that's actually even better for us. Oop, nothing yet. Alright, opponents. So with that, here's actually another devious trick you can do. So, Serpent Society. Number 2. Keep the original. And also that forces our opponent to lose the creature. There we go. Alright, so a little expensive on the spot removal there, but it does work.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Okay, so with that, we should be almost ready here. Even if they have to block, they still will lose the creature no matter what. So we're in a really, really good spot here. Creature decks are definitely what you want this deck to fight against. Ooh, they fight us. Wow, that actually is perfect for us. Opponent! I'll take that. Okay, so with that... Oh, that helped us out a ton there. Okay. So even though we can't put poison counters with the Serpent Society, we still can actually put some pretty good damage out there. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here against our opponent and their merfolk shenanigans. Summon Leviathan. Oh, wow. Okay, well, a little scary there, but that's not actually the worst for us. We have ways of getting around even that. Okay, so Annihilating Glare. So Serpent Society coming back. Okay, And we'll pass here. Okay, opponents. Do they swing? Hunter's blowgun. Okay, that's cute. They attach. Okay, so they have death touch. We don't actually worry about that. Go ahead and swing, opponent. Do it. I dare you. Okay. Okay, so we both have death touch at this point. We'll block here. Cameo safekeeping. All right. Now we get rid of their summon. Gone and out of the way. Whew, okay. Well, the coast is clear. Serpent Society does survive. C-Note Scout. Okay. This hopefully means that our opponent is out of gas. Okay. Opponent. Ooh, do they add it on there? They do. Okay. Well, that's okay with me. So with that, Acre Split Black Basilisk. Okay, so from there, I think I know. We'll just go swinging for it. Does our opponent block? They have to block. I'm sorry, opponent. The Serpent Society survives again with Tameo safekeeping. Okay, now once again the board is clear, and we are still ready to shut down our opponent, even if they are utilizing any of their other merfolk. Wow, opponent just doesn't want to give up here. Okay. Well, we're still happy to oblige. So with that, Acre Split Basilisk once again. This time around, however, we will put out Foulmire Knight as well. Okay, so we have 2 Death Touch creatures. Does this do anything bad? Okay, no. Okay, that helps us out. Opponent, they attach, I'm guessing, the blowgun to the Leviathan. Go ahead and swing, opponent. That's fine with me. Okay. It's fine. Block here. We actually punch up and destroy their summon a second time. Oh, man, we're so close. Blowgun again. Okay. Ooh, Finn the Fangbearer. Actually, that's actually really sweet for us. Okay, so with that, let's see. Finn the Fangbearer this time. And the Serpent Society coming in. All right, swinging here. Opponents, you're on the ropes. They take the hits. That's 5. That's 7. Oh, man, we're close. Okay. Opponent does anything? Nope. Okay, so with that, I think that's game. And our opponent agrees. All right. The Serpents of Death have gotten their victory, everyone. Wow. So nice. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can we use the power of the Serpent Society and our Death Touch creatures to score a victory? Well, all right, we got the Serpent Society in hand, Shovels in hand as well, along with a Bill of Skull Dweller and an Annihilating Glare. This should be good, right? We should be able to get around our opponent here. Okay, so let's see. We'll play our Bill of Skull Dweller to get us started. I'm just playing Yorion, so that could mean anything. Tap land there, that's fine. Okay, Finn the Fangbearer. That's actually solid. So that means we can speed up our walk here very quickly. All right, up to 3 poison counters already. Okay. Okay, search for Escanta. That's okay too, opponent. Acrespect Basilisk. Okay, so from here, we'll put out the Basilisk first, only because we don't need Serpent Society at this moment. But considering how fast we're going here, I don't think we're actually going to need it. Okay. Opponent, you have literally 1 turn to stop us. Do they have an answer? Okay, ooh, they throw away Settle the Wreckage. A little scary there, but let's see. Humilitus, okay. But that is not enough. Does our opponent have what it takes? It doesn't look like it, so easy win here. Not an exciting one, but hey, I guess that's a win. All right. Let's see if we can actually get a real game going here, guys. Let's see. We could try. We will try.
A few moments later.
Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can we use the power of the Serpent Society and Toxic and Death Touch to rain down misery on our opponents? Well, okay, so it looks like we can do it with this hand. A little slow, but we can make it work. Okay, opponent has a Kahiro, so that means we're definitely going to be in it for Modern Control.
Huh?
Did I say Modern Control? I meant to say Azorius Control. Words are hard. I have no idea what I was trying to say there. Ooh, okay, we got the Serpent Society, so that's actually good for us. We'll play Shovel first. If nothing else, this at least baits counter spells, which they have. Okay, that's fine. Most likely our opponent may not play anything. They'll probably pass here. Watch, wait for it, of course. Okay, that's okay too. So I guess we'll just try here. It's going to be now just a battle of attrition while we somehow try to fight our way through all these counter spells and shenanigans. So far, nothing yet from our opponents. Field of Ruin. Okay. Okay. So, here is our critical turn. If they play what I think they are going to play, which is Wandering Emperor, do it. Ooh, Gonjo Seed of the Empire. Okay. So instead, sacrifice that. Draw 2 cards, leave behind a treasure. Okay, with that, we have enough for the Serpent Society. Alright, so, coast is clear. If our opponent tries to target it, they will get 5 poison counters. They can do that once. Okay, oh, here we go. Okay, we got our extra copies here. Okay, so I think we're set to go now. Let's just swing. Let's see what our opponent does. They have to have something in hand. If nothing else, we can get there with the Society. Opponent? Nothing? Something. You gotta have something, opponent. Consult the star charts. Okay. Okay. Probably looking for some kind of answer that will hit us. I have no idea what they got, though. Ugh. Could be anything. Okay, there's that. Profane Insight on Foulmire Knight. Okay, get a land. Another Foulmire Knight. All right. Okay, well, at this point, we might as well just start swinging. Not the most exciting way to make this deck work, but it pressures your opponent a ton. Because trying to get a bunch of counters and one go here is probably not what they want to do. They take down. Okay, that's cute.
Keep watch for intruders.
Okay. Ideally, I would love to get Finn the Fangbearer in as well. But we'll see. Can we make this work? All right.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Stock up. Okay. Opponent is trying. They find 2 more cards. I don't know what they are. Another tap land. They're swinging. We'll go to 16. Okay. So, well, we got to start pressuring our opponent a little bit more. So let's see if we can make this work. Okay, so it does resolve. Can we get some counters here? Will our opponent block? Let's see what they do. Wait, what else do they have? Okay, get lost. Guess we'll do this now. Okay, protect it. Hit them down to 11. They get 2 counters on themselves. And I think we should be okay there. Serpent Society now doesn't have any actual protection, but we do at least have some counters on board. If our opponent tries to do anything, we do have 2 more copies waiting in the wings. Something's got to give. Okay, counters on. We'll take out that counter, actually. So counter goes bye-bye. Oh, wait, I forgot. Oh, it actually has first strike.
I'll take stupid pills this morning.
I made a mistake there. That shouldn't cost me the match, right? Right? No more lies. Okay. Pay the 3. Do you have another counter spell? They do not. Okay. March of Otherworldly Light. Okay. Well, I mean, we are wearing our opponent down little by little, but they seem very afraid to actually interact with the Serpent Society. Okay. No blocks this time. I learned my lesson. Down to 13. Shockland. Floating mana. Alright, looks like here comes Kahira coming in. Yes. No. Oh, not yet. Okay. Well, we got a Volatile Fault. That actually can help us out a smidge. Let's play a Foulmire Knight. Okay. Play the Billowas Skull Dweller. I think that's all we can do for now. Okay, opponent still got 4 cards in hand. All they can do right now is just keep ticking up the Wandering Emperor's ability to pump up their Samurai. We can block for a little bit if we need to. Easy. Okay. They get some tokens. Not too worried about the tokens, though. They tick up. This means that Biza will go bye-bye. So Serpent Society's ability does trigger in. They have to sacrifice Biza. It's the only non-token creature they got. Nice. So at least that's off the field. We'll use our Foulmire Knight's Profane Insight to dig out hopefully something that will stop our opponents. Dovin's video. Alright. So that's what they have. Looks like a lot of interesting stuff then. just start drawing cards. Okay. Raw Priest is not bad. That actually can give us a little bit more to work with here. Ooh, Field of Ruin. Okay. They target that. Okay. Well, in response, I guess I don't have a choice. What do I take out? I guess it's just going to be the Anchorage. Okay. I really feel like I should have put in Fatal Pushes. I don't know what I was thinking. Fun and swinging. Block here. I'm guessing if they're swinging with everything, they gotta have a Wrath. Okay. Nothing from the sacrifice, of course. But if they do have a Wrath, that's fine. We have actually backup options anyway. They have Judgment. Alright, that's fine too. That probably means they'll tick up, or tick down, I should say, to get another Samurai token. Of course.
Guards, to me.
Kahira. Opponent thinks they got us on the ropes, but we got another Serpent Society ready to go. Along with Venerated Rot Priest and a Foulmire Knight. Okay, so we're back in the fight. Okay, Cleansing Nova. Alright. Opponent has all the Wraths, apparently. They tick down again, I'm guessing, for another token. Okay.
Let your blade do
I'm guessing that means they're completely out of stuff, hopefully. Play a Serpent Society. Okay, nice. Thankfully that sticks. They can tick up once. We can swing after that. Okay, they got a Fountain Port. They tick up. Deadly Dispute. Sacrificing our one artifact. Maybe? That's it. Okay. Wow, that was their last card. They're digging. Oh boy. I hope I can edit this down to like 5 minutes. Okay, Deadly Dispute. Oh jeez, they actually got the counter spell. Okay. Shovel. Okay, Shovel's not bad. Okay, unless our opponent has more stuff. Okay. So with that, we swing here. Just trying to wither them down. Opponents, you're there. Okay, they block with a token. Okay, they sacrifice. They draw a card off of that. No damage. Do they take up or down? God, we've gone through 16 cards of draw, wrathing, everything. Okay, another land. Oh boy. Temporary lockdown, okay. Doesn't really hurt us too badly here. We'll just sacrifice Shovel. Might as well draw some cards off of that. Okay. So, no real value there. Opponents. Do they tick down? No, they still tick down for just the token.
Guards, to me.
Okay. Shovel, again. Okay. Jeez, just trying our hardest here to get through token after token. They will probably sacrifice it again for value. Okay. Alright. Whew, I was hoping this was only going to be a 5-minute video. Now it's just being stretched out to like... Wait, what's the timer at right now? Oh god, it's like... Well, you guys don't see it on my side here, but now it's like 17 minutes. And also I gotta use the restroom.
I'm in danger!
Okay, 26. Cards left. Temporary lockdown again. We do have actually in the deck one way of blowing those up. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. Okay, they got their Hall of the Storm Giants, and we actually are out of options to blow that up. So I don't know if we're going to be able to fight through it. Okay, Foulmire Knight. Alright. Okay, draw another card. Okay. Acre Split Basilic. For now, we'll play the Foulmire Knight. Okay, force our opponent to keep ticking down. God, this is just so grindy. I did not know we were going to have to grind this hard for this deck. And yet, despite all this, we still cannot muster up anything more than 2 counters on our opponent. Okay. 2 temporary lockdowns. All of the stockpiles. We have gone through 2 Consult Star Charts, 2 Wraths. No more lies. Get lost. Jeez. They have Judgment again. Ah! Oh, make this end already. Wait, is that all of our Serpent Societies? That is 3 of the 4. Okay, I think our opponent might actually be able to beat us here. Okay.
We've got the edge in this fight.
Down to 2. Okay. Wow, what a waste that was. 19 minutes on the clock, and I ended up losing anyway, so... Jeez. Alright, well, we'll just go to the wrap, everyone. I have nothing to say except I just feel like completely drained from that game. And there you have it, everybody. So that was Serpents of Death for the Pioneer format. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? Now, let's be honest. This deck can be either super duper hot and very fierce, or it could just piddle out and do practically nothing. From the early games that you saw, we're able to get poison counters very, very quickly if our opponent is not prepared for it. But as you saw from our last game, man, that was a drag. Just barely putting 2 poison counters on our opponent, but they were able to keep us at bay. So be aware that if you're going to play this deck, your biggest issue is going to be anything that wraths us, because that means we just cannot do anything, even with our game plan. And if your opponent is also very token happy, that also is going to make the deck feel very sad. Now, having said all that, if you still like what the deck is trying to do and you're looking to still be as toxic as possible, if you made it this far into the video, give a shout out below in the comments because you are my true fiery friends. And because of that, I'll be more than happy to show you how you can make this deck even more deadly than it currently is. Now, as far as upgrading the deck, here's what I'd recommend for you to get some more value out of it. So we're actually going to add in some more legendary creatures that will be replacing our weaker knights. So we'll throw in Cecil Dark Knight here and Tiny Bones the Pickpocket. The Skeleton Rogue has Death Touch also, so that's helpful, but if we deal combat damage to it, we hopefully can cast cards that are non-land permanents in our player's graveyard. So this can be actually a way to kind of steal some stuff and get more value out of our deck. For Cecil Dark Knight, however, this is actually a bit of a double-edged sword, so be aware of how to use this. Anytime he deals damage, we will, however, lose that much life. But if we manage to flip him into Cecil Redeemed Paladin, then he'll have lifelink so we can gain that life back, and anytime he attacks in this form, our attacking creatures will get indestructible until end of turn. Otherwise, the only other major upgrades for the deck will be just kind of swapping a couple things that actually don't require you to upgrade per se, but after looking at some of the footage, these actually are going to be much more better for you. What I mean by that is you can remove your Annihilating Glares and put in Fatal Push for an instant speed removal spell. Otherwise, if you do like Annihilating Glare, keep that in if you want to, but this one can be more of just a personal preference for me. A couple other quick swaps out will be adding in Infectious Bite and Drown in Ichor here. So Drown in Ichor is just to punish indestructible creatures, giving it -4/-4 until end of turn and proliferate. With Infectious Bite, we have instant speed spot removal if we just want to ping our opponent whatever damage we have, because all of our creatures have Death Touch, so that instantly takes out anything. And the only other final upgrades will be taking out the Basilisk we had earlier to add in Glissa Sunslayer. So this is a Phyrexian zombie elf that's also a legendary creature, but she has First Strike and Death Touch, making her very, very hard for your opponent to deal with. As long as she can deal some combat damage, you can draw cards with her, or you can use her to destroy enchantments, or just remove counters from a target permanent they control. The only other upgrades for the main part of the deck will be mostly, of course, to the land base. So that means we'll be trimming down our swamps and forests to 3 apiece. We'll add in now Fastlands, Bluing Marsh, keep the Hissing Quagmire, we'll throw in Shocklands, Overgrown Tomb, and the Verge land, Wastewood Verge. Finally, the last major upgrade will be in the sideboard itself, so we'll trim down to just 2 copies of Whisper of the Dross, we'll keep our Soul Guide Lanterns, throw in an extra copy of Drown in Ichor, the extra copies of Infectious Bite will still be in the sideboard, an extra copy of Terror Sunder will just get moved as a single copy to the sideboard, and we'll throw in some Planeswalkers and Spetter Wraths for us. Maelstrom Pulse here can destroy a lot of the Go Wide token decks out there. Rahl Zarek is mostly here if you have to deal with a lot of spot removal, because this can tick down and bring back any creature card with a mana value of 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield, and that's perfect for our deck because all of our creatures are 3 or less. Otherwise, if you want to sacrifice all the other legendary creatures that are running amok and maybe you are running out of room, then you can use instead Vraska Golgari Queen. Use her otherwise to tick down to destroy non-land permanents with a mana value of 3 or less, but if you manage to ultimate with her, you can get an emblem where if we deal any combat damage to a player, they will lose the game, giving us yet another win con for the deck. And with that all out of the way, here are my final thoughts that I want to give you on this deck. If you're a fan of the Death Touch mechanic, if you're a fan of punishing your opponent's spot removal, and if you're a fan of the kind of deck that can provide an alternate win con, whether besides combat damage, you can just put a bunch of poison counters on them, I would definitely say, give this deck a try, and I assure you, whether you punish your opponent by sacrificing your legendaries to make them lose their main creatures, you can have a lot of fun doing so, and you'll be very surprised at how you can pull it off on today's budget. I assure you, you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!